Awakening's flagship.
Here we go!
Hey, Snippy, don't get cocky.
Slippy, you've already got bogeys on your tail.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Thanks, Fox. I thought I was a goner.
You haven't changed a bit, Frog Boy. According to your...
Just 10 minutes into Star Fox Assault, I was gripping my GameCube controller tighter than I had since Metroid Prime, blasting through swarming fleets of enemy fighters and darting between colossal space vessels while laser beams grazed my cockpit's exterior and fiery explosions rocked the cold stillness of space. I was hammering the A button, I was upgrading my lasers, I was blasting hundreds of foes, and for the first time since the Nintendo 64, I was playing a Star Fox game that actually felt like a Star Fox game.
Work him over!
Obviously, I like the Star Fox series, but what I really like is good games. And when it's done like this, Star Fox is a very good game. But then, like a dying star, Star Fox Assault suddenly imploded, and I was reminded of Nintendo's stubborn inability to, at least in regard to the once proud Star Fox series, make them like they used to. Star Fox Assault is perhaps Nintendo's cruelest tease of the GameCube era. After the relatively young franchise had been literally and figuratively derailed by its handlers in 2002's Star Fox Adventures, which was basically just a furry Zelda clone, it seemed like developer Namco had finally restored Star Fox to its space-shooting, asteroid-dodging, barrel-rolling glory. And they did. For the first level. But after that, Star Fox Assault goes down the same unfortunate path as Star Fox Adventures, forcing players into a series of tedious and mediocre combat missions on foot. Perhaps the simplest critique of Star Fox Assault is that it really feels like two completely different games forced into one. The flight missions, which provide thrilling, fast-paced anti-gravity dogfights, and the ground missions, which are third-person shooting levels that are mediocre at best and uninspired at heart. These mission sets represent two completely different gaming genres, but the reason they feel like two different games is even deeper than that. In fact, they actually feel like they were developed by completely separate teams. To start with the good, Star Fox Assault's flight missions really encapsulate everything fans love about the first two Star Fox games, and to this day, they're the closest Nintendo has come to recapturing the magic of the Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 classics. Enemy fighters swarm from virtually every angle, and armed with unlimited laser fire and a satisfying lock-on targeting system, Star Fox fans will be enamored by Assault's precious few flight missions. It's all about piling up the points with an arcade-like scoring system based on combos and multipliers, and as any arcade dweller knows, games like that tend to be quite addictive. Pair that quarter-sucking drive for the high scores list with the game's inherently habit-forming gameplay, and quite addictive is certainly an adequate descriptor of Assault's flight missions, at least the on-rails ones.
It's been infested by the Aporos.
Yow!
Also, when you're in flight, the game is really beautiful. Aside from Rogue Squadron 2, no GameCube game made outer space look as stunning as Star Fox Assault. So you're having a great time, right? And then all of a sudden, Namco takes away your ride for no reason other than to diversify the experience. As if the Star Fox series really needed to be diversified in the first place. Well, regardless of their intent, the on-foot missions are the antithesis to the flight missions in almost every sense. The controls are clunky, the gameplay is dull, the visuals are bland, and perhaps more importantly, the inherent pacing of these missions is an abrupt jolt to the series' norm. Void of the thrill provided by the flight missions, they quickly become tedious and repetitive. Ironically, the very traits they were included to prevent. And here's the worst part. More than half the game takes place on foot. Who thought that was a good idea? There seems to be an internal philosophical struggle at Nintendo in regard to Star Fox. For some reason, the creators of this series seem absolutely adamant about two things. 1. Star Fox simply cannot remain a simple on-rail space shooter, and 2. Star Fox should be outsourced to developers such as Namco. But given how far the games have fallen since the first 2 releases, a free fall of quality perhaps most painfully emphasized by Assault's generic ground missions, I'd say it's time for Nintendo to rethink those philosophies. Sadly, even if they did, it'd be too late to save Star Fox Assault, a game forever doomed to endure a Jekyll and Hyde legacy that leaves players thinking, oh great, another ground mission, for more than half of its duration. Yeah, there's a multiplayer mode, and sure, the on-rails flight missions are triumphant returns to Star Fox form, but when triumph is the minority of the experience, that leaves disappointment to fill the remaining void. And disappointment is something Star Fox Assault boasts in long, tedious, ground-based spades.
All ships, evacuate at maximum velocity. Let's go!